So I've caught up with Apollo.
Budding Lamu.
Yeah, so that plan was hatched in Nairobi and is now coming to life. I am Victor Ikawa. I have a PhD in environmental planning and management, but I love being in the field. I love the practical bit of the field. And for birds, there's some birds that disappeared or that stopped being recorded in Kenya 30 years or more ago. I love going to look for them. Some are in pretty remote places, some are in inaccessible places, but I attempt to find them. So join me as I do that. That place called Lamu, it's a really interesting place. Many years ago, I think over a decade, the terrorists that live in the Somali border between Somalia and Kenya kidnapped a couple of people, and that marked more or less the economic doom for Lamu County, because from that time on the place was deemed as unsafe.
The militants, who are reported to have been 10 in number, are said to have intercepted a vehicle transporting liquor from Mombasa to Lamu, executed the driver and his boy before setting the two vehicles ablaze. Lamu
is one of those areas that bird watchers never go to. I mean, if you ask any normal Kenyan, let's go to Lamu, let's go see what's there, they're probably gonna tell you that, nah, I don't want to be kidnapped. But that's unfair, because whatever incident happened many years back. True, there are incidences which still continue to happen once in a while, but there are incidences in Nairobi, there are incidences in some of the places which you think are some of the most secure places in Kenya. The place is really, really beautiful. For those who've been to the southern coast of Kenya, you know how nice Diani, all the way down past Kiunga, all the way down, how beautiful the beaches are, how nice the people are, and the view into the ocean is perfect. And then if you go up north towards Malindi, the whole area around Watamu, and all the way into Malindi, really beautiful places, particularly if you're having a view of the sea. Now, supposing I told you that that's nothing compared to the beauty of the place that is between Lamu and Kiwayu. So as you leave Lamu Island, then you get into the series of the archipelago, as it's called, the series of islands that are interconnected, and then go all the way north towards Kismayu, and passing near Faza Island, Ngao Kiwayu, into Kiwayu, until you get into the biosphere reserve that was actually our intention to visit. So I managed to convince a few friends. Apollo is a bird guide that is based in the Kenyan coast, and the idea really was to look for a red weaver, or attempt to look for a red weaver, and looking at some of the old records that were down there, it was possible to see some really interesting birds. So most of them saying July, August, September, there was a chances of tropic birds, white-tailed tropic birds, which are really beautiful birds, and red-tailed tropic birds. And these are records that are pretty old, I believe in the 80s in Kenya. And someone also mentioned that there is Barrow's petrel off the Somali coast. And the Kiunga Marine Reserve, if you look at what's on the KWS website, looks perfect.
Yeah, it's a good spot in the sea or wherever it makes it.
I've caught up with Apollo.
Budding Lamu.
Yeah, so that plan was hatched in Nairobi and is now coming to life.
Guys, we are going to just screw all the birds, just shooting them.
So within a minute of coming out of the plane, we're already birding.
Just shooting the birds.
It's really cool.
Hii babuna kaona?
Don't I know this fruit?
Jirafa wewe.
What fruit is it?
Kuna jina mimi najua, lakini nitaangalia baadaye.
No. Oh, hata kwa Kiswahili ujui?
Gugu. Hii inaitwa tundukwa.
Tundukwa. Okay. So I had never seen coastal bubu. It's Manda bubu. It's one of those bubus that is in northern Kenyan coast. And after getting some security clearance from the officer in charge of the airport, we basically got to taking some photos. And then we got scaly babblers. And just sitting down, trying to get photos of that was really cool. Yes, bakers.
At the fort. We just passed the fort. We're between the fort and
Just sitting and wearing
the big team there. Where? Watching in Rwanda. Juma is a Lamu guide. Running there, going with them, QIU to explore this beautiful place. Birding for life. Top birders in Kenya and also now in East Africa. It's amazing birding.
But when you talk to the locals didn't seem as bothered about security. And they kept on saying, the locals, some of them are sympathizers to Al-Shabaab and everything, which is possible. But considering the impromptu nature in which we came and how quickly we wanted to literally see one or two places and then disappear before anyone really knows we were there, and registered ourselves, the policemen seemed quite relaxed. The villager who was concerned about who we are seemed much more bothered than the police themselves. So the police looked quite calm and were like, there isn't much going on in this place, and it's secure. If you talk to the locals, it is a period when they're not fishing, and that period when they're not fishing is a pretty relaxed period for them. There's very little economic activity that happens when the tide is high and the sea is rough, and that's maybe from the months of April, May, all the way into September, which is a very rough period for the ocean. And then it gets a lot calmer, and then the local fishermen are able to go so much further inward to fish and do whatever other resource things they've done for generations. Register at the police station. I think they're not too used to seeing guests, so just the security situation around here. So this is the march to the police station. Well, maybe we'll see some other interesting stuff. Balua. Now, the local community, when we asked them about some interesting birds, one of the birds that we were interested in was red weaver. And when we showed them the pictures, they were quite, yeah, we know this bird. It was seen by this girl in this place. And, just off the stories that they could tell you, you could tell that they know the bird. So anyway, we managed to get all the way to the marine, to the biosphere reserve, which is a really beautiful place. And what was immediately evident was that the warden in that park wasn't particularly excited to see us, which is a surprise because in a lot of the KWS areas, part of the effective utilization of parks is tourists coming and creating a good rapport with locals. And we could tell he was particularly concerned about security. Obviously, the warden wasn't too pleased to see us, maybe for our own good. The rangers, on the other hand, were pretty nice, pretty relatable. Some of them have worked in different places in Kenya, and it was nice chatting with them. And whichever way you buy this story, I think that KWS do a really good job in Kenya. But maybe there are more structured ways with which we could attempt to visit and catalog or just enjoy some of these remote bits of Kenya.
Restaurant. How's it? Rolex. Rolex. Yeah, this was a Rolex. The one we get in Uganda, it's very in Kenya. It was very nice in the island.